Hello, Stream. We are live today with hashtag Broken Bane D&D. We're on session 2, and I've decided to call this session More Gloom but No Doom. So let's see what we can do today. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to populate them in chat, and I will review them or review. I'll revisit your suggestions over break. We're really looking forward to you playing with us today. All right, so today we've got Battle, Freya, Yume, and Winnie with us today, and I'm going to give you guys a real quick recap of what you did last time. So, last time you met the Psychomancer and Tina and Tina's wife, Rebecca. Tina is catatonic, and the Psychomancer believes that a night hag is attacking her psyche, which I looked up how to say that. It's psyche. The Psychomancer has asked for your help to go in and protect 2 pieces of Tina's psyche in order to... Sorry, I just said that. In order to help protect them. You all agreed, and you jumped right in. And you ended up in an arboretum full of dead plants. And then you went outside, and there were 2 very clear paths. One had drippy tar, and one had bright red feathers. You went down the drippy tar path, and you ended up in this grotto with these 3 tiers of sort of lakes and a sort of a black void at the bottom. And there were 4 copies of Tina. Like, there were 4 Tinas, but they all looked a little different. And as you approached them and started talking to them, the Psychomancer appeared and gave you some advice around listening and acknowledging, and sometimes that's all anybody needs to sort of get out of their own way kind of stuff, and I am definitely putting my own spin on the Psychomancer's words, but there's that. You resolved anger, and you resolved guilt, and there are 2 more Tinas left. There are 2 more Tinas left, and Freya has joined Yume with the Tina that seems very hopeless, and Battle has joined Winnie with the Tina that seems very empty. I'm going to refer to each of you as your character names so that I will learn them. And I may pause as I look at my overlay and look at the token to get the names, so I apologize for the pacing there. I believe that is the state that... Oh, there's also something talking to you, and they are not pleased that you are helping these Tinas, and every time you help a new Tina, the voice seems to get more of the aggressive side of passive aggressive, and they're trying to make you doubt yourselves. The atmosphere is very thick and is making you very lethargic. So along with the complication of trying to help Tina, the environment's sort of getting in your way as well. That's everything I can think of that you guys ran into last time. Is there anything you'd like to add?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, it's completely fine. I just wanted to make sure I check. Okay, let me roll into the learns. Winnie said that one of the takeaways that there are many of the things we came across won't be something that Winnie can just smash. There are some new skills she'll have to learn. Freya was really grateful for Yume and Battle for her patience. Yume sitting to observe is not something that Freya's good at, so Freya really appreciated that. Battle was learning about Battle learned that that D&D makes an absolutely valuable contribution to the team. And Yume learned that there is a noble faction of healers. And then I'll jump over to the role-playing points really quickly. I clicked the wrong button, so it'll take me a moment to get there. So at the end of every session, I asked the group to nominate role-playing moments that were particularly good. Good doesn't mean they were funny. Good doesn't mean you did a good job. necessarily. Good means it was a really solid moment for that character. Chat can also nominate these. Last time we had the winner was Freya for her forcefulness, the rock and the lightning, also known as yeeting a rock into the abyss out of frustration. An honorable mention goes to Yume, who got a vote for getting in front of Tina and just sitting on the floor and listening. The other two moments that were nominated were Battle's calming presence. Their whole interaction with their Tina was amazing. And there was also a nomination for Freya diving down the path, focusing on saving Tina's depression trail, and that was in quotes. So Freya, you do have a role-playing point to use this session. What that means is once this session, you can choose to re-roll a d20 roll, and you can do that after you've rolled. So even if you roll a nat 1, you get a free re-roll because of this role-playing point. Okay?
That is very exciting.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's fun. I'm glad you like it too. All right, I am ready to get started. But I'd like to pause and see if you guys have any questions or comments you'd like to make before we get started.
All clear.
All right.
I think I'm good.
Okay. I just want to say I'm really excited we're playing this game today. D&D is very fun for me, and I'm really excited that I'm able to do it with you four in particular. This is very, very exciting for me. Okay. So, the temperature in this space is the exact same temperature as your skin, which always feels weird. There's this mist that comes up, and every time it swirls around you, you feel just a little bit more tired. There are 4 Tinas, 2 of which have turned to glass and look relieved, and 2 that are still remaining. One seems very hopeless, and one seems very empty. There is a sibilant whisper that seems to be growing in volume that is saying things like, "You're never going to succeed, and just lay down and give up." And it's pretty persistent. And there's this sucking black void at the bottom of the grotto that you're not quite sure what that's about. You've struck lightning into it and you threw a rock into it, and that didn't seem to have any effect, except for kind of a chuckle from that whatever's trying to talk to you. I've got Winnie and Battle in front of the Tina that seems empty, and that's where we're going to start today. So, so the Tina in front of you has said things like, I don't hurt anymore, I don't feel anything, and I don't even care enough to care. And Winnie, you've asked some good questions around what might be wrong, and as a group you've learned that Tina has been having some guilt and anger around the farm is failing. You guys aren't so far apart from each other that you can't hear these interactions. So I'll say, command decision, that as a group you know that Tina feels that her and Rebecca's farm is failing, and that it is all her fault. She should have seen this coming, and that she's taking a lot of ownership for this. You were able to resolve the guilty feeling she was feeling by acknowledging that, but hindsight's 20/20, and talking to people is the best way to get around this. And you should talk to Rebecca, and you could talk to me, and that was a really good interaction. And you resolved the angry feelings with, this does suck, and it's okay to feel angry, and sometimes you just need to talk about it. So that was a really good way to handle those two. So Winnie and Battle, the Tina in front of you she only really started showing any signs of life, Winnie, when you started trying to engage with her. Until you started asking her questions, and until you were sort of trying to draw her out, she was very lifeless. She was very gray. She's the grayest of the Tinas. But she's sitting up a little straighter now, and she's looking right at you, Winnie, and she says, "Why should I care? I've spent all of this time trying as hard as I can, and it's easier to not care." Now, do you think Winnie's got Battle by her side. The last thing Winnie did was she kind of looked over her shoulder for some help, and Battle came right over. Do you think Winnie might feel a little stronger now that she's got a friend with her?
I think she would still be
A little
a
apprehensive?
little, yeah, not sure. Like, she's tried pretty much everything that she knows to try at this point.
Do you think she feels a little out of her depth?
Yeah,
Do,
it's
so,
she loves Tina and she doesn't really know
okay,
what to
so
do with all this.
would it be possible that Winnie would draw on that love of Tina, and when Tina's sitting in front of her asking, why should I care? Do you think that might trigger some thoughts for Winnie about the things that you know Tina already cares about?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So maybe this would be a good moment for Winnie to respond with the things that Tina cares about.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think she would do that or ask Battle for help?
That's a good question. I think she would immediately respond with who she knows Tina is. And
Okay.
if that doesn't work, then she's going to ask for help.
Perfect. So Tina's in front of you and she in front of Winnie and she's saying, "Why should I care?" What's Winnie's response to that?
Well, I know you do care about a lot of stuff. I know you care about Rebecca, and I know you care about Jen, and I know you care about the dogs and the town, and I know you care about me. You cared about me a lot. And when I was in a rough spot, you really, really cared, even though you didn't know me very well. And so I think deep down, you do care, and there's a lot of people that care about you.
She really seems to be listening. The more you say, the more she's leaning forward a little and she's really focusing on you. She's making eye contact with you, which she wasn't doing before, and she seems a little more animated. And she goes, and there's sort of a catch in her voice, like she wants to believe you, right? But she's still not quite there. So she says, when has caring that much ever done anyone any good? It didn't do any good to save my farm, so why should I? When has it done any good? And
Did a
Winnie,
lot of good for me.
yeah, that's perfect. And she'll maybe let's say Tina looks a little confused. Maybe she needs some help remembering what she did. That was good. Because
When I,
she's really down on herself right now. So sometimes it helps to just literally remind something just remind the person exactly what they've done, even though you think they should already know this. Sometimes it's helpful. What do you think Winnie would say there?
when I was alone and didn't have any friends and I needed help and I was in a really, really tough spot, you took me in. And you didn't even know me. You didn't. I could have been a dangerous person, and you just brought me in and treated me like a sister. And I really love you, and I've come to love you because of who you are, and the kindness that you have, and the amazing, generous individual that you are. And I think that just being who you are does the world a lot of good.
She 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 she's really listening. I know I've said that before, but the more you talk, the more she's leaning forward, and she says, "So my caring for you, you're saying that actually did good, and you're saying that even if I can't see it, it does good. Is that what you're saying?"
Exactly.
And she says, "So should I so I should care. It's just so hard sometimes to do that and not have anything change. Do you know what I mean? It that sometimes it feels easier to just not care." And Winnie, you've probably had moments in the past because things have not always been the rosiest for you, where you've probably had moments where you've thought, yeah, it's best to just not make friends or try. Do you think Winnie's had those moments?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Do you think Winnie would think to share that moment when Tina's asking these questions, when she's saying why, if when Tina's asking, like, does it make sense that I don't want to keep trying, I don't want to keep caring? Do you think Winnie would respond yes there, or would she ask Battle for help?
Yeah, I think she would definitely respond yes.
Yeah. And would it be like a vehement yes, like yeah? What would that sound like from Winnie?
It would sound like Winnie's getting more and more sad thinking about
Okay.
this, and so it's less of a vehement or
Mhm.
like bubbly yes,
Yeah.
and more of just like a yeah. I mean, when I lost my family, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to see anyone else. I just wanted my family, and that wasn't an option. And so I felt really lost. And so I know exactly what that's like.
And she says, I know it's weird, but when I'm by myself and it's all I can think about, sometimes it feels like I'm the only one that feels this way. And it means a lot to hear that I'm not the only one that feels like this. And I know it's silly to she's almost putting herself down there, where she's like, I know it's silly and everybody has these moments, but it really helps me to hear that you've had a similar moment. And I really appreciate you sharing that with me. And she seems more and more like herself the more you talk to her like this. She's sitting more forward and her shoulders are straighter, and she doesn't smile, but she looks relieved, and she straightens out into glass again. So she's very see-through, and you just see sort of the edges there. And
Winnie's gonna reach in, like, even though she looks like glass, like, give her a hug.
and as you give her that hug, you still feel it. It almost doesn't feel like glass. It feels like you've hugged her in a way. And it makes you feel better, because you realize in that moment when this representation fades away and you see that moment of relief, Winnie gets this feeling of, all right, I don't know what I did, but I did something.
Exactly.
Right? Does that sound right?
Yes.
Yeah, because Winnie went into this with, like, I don't know what to do, and I care about my friend, and this is very sad, and you were able to help her, even though Winnie didn't think she knew what to do. So that's a great result. What does Battle do when she's seeing this happen? Hey, what does Battle do when she sees this happen?
Sorry. I thought I heard a different name. Battle is just kind of observing, sitting back, soft smile, just feeling relief, I think, and looking over and wondering what's happening across the way.
Okay.
And I would imagine feeling a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
And maybe even reaching over and saying, like, good job, Winnie.
Yeah.
I know that was hard.
Yeah. That's good. All right, I'm going to move over to Yume and Freya now. Yume, you are sitting on the ground, and you're actually sitting in one of the lakes, really. So your butt is wet, and that is an uncomfortable feeling. But it's helping you stay awake, and the lethargy is your wet butts help with lethargy, so that's good. And your focus on this Tina was the first thing that got the Tina's attention. And she's leaned forward, and you took her hands at one point, I believe. Am I remembering that right?
Sure.
Yeah, let's say you did. That sounds like a Yume thing. And you actually sent Dandy onto her knee, and she livened up even more. And what you've noticed is she's leaning forward in this chair that she's sitting in, and she's looking at you like you're her lifeline. That if anybody's going to get her out of this, it's going to be you. And when Freya comes over and you introduce Freya as your friend, she's still very focused on you, Yume. And she's saying things like, I failed my family and the farm is doomed and there's nothing I can do. And Yume, does Yume have any experiences like that in her past that she might be thinking of when Tina says those kinds of things?
Yume can maybe empathize a little bit with mixed expectations. Like, she
Yep.
doesn't necessarily let her family down, but
Right.
she's had family issues on the farm that she lives on.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and she seems kind of hopeless, which is something that, due to family matters of her own, she has felt quite a bit before she made friends.
Right. And you actually come from a farm as well, so you probably get the ups and downs of farms, right? Like there's good years and there's not great years, and everybody goes through a little bit of change. And there are those intense feelings of things like hopelessness. So do you think Yume would share those feelings with um, do you think Yume would share those feelings with Tina, or would she draw on those feelings to ask Tina a question like, "Can?" So would Yume say, "Yeah, I felt like that in the past," and give an example, or would Yume say, "Well, can you tell me why you think you might be feeling? Let's talk about that." What do you think Yume would do?
I think Yume would prioritize trying to hear more of what she has to say.
Great.
She could say a lot of what she's feeling, but I think she feels it's more important to make sure that Tina feels heard than it is for her to say, like, "Oh, I went through that too."
Perfect.
There might be a place for that, but it doesn't seem like that's the case right now.
Perfect. Okay. Also, I hope you guys know, and I'll just repeat this really quickly. When I ask you things like, would Yume do X or Y? If Yume would do Z, like a completely third option that I have not mentioned, go ahead and jump right in with that. I'm
It is helpful right now.
just
though.
helping you calibrate. Yeah. Okay. It's helping me calibrate on the character as well. So I appreciate you participating in these fun conversations. Okay. So you've told me that Yume wants to prioritize listening to Tina. Would Yume do that by asking a question or by using her body language to indicate, like, I am listening to everything you have to say? Would it be a question or body language?
Probably mostly more heavily body language, because what she did last session was kind of like you said, she got down like on the ground, I guess, in the muck a little bit, like brushed off her skirts a little, and just made sure that
Yep.
all of her attention was focused on her.
Yep.
Got a little distracted once Freya came over, but that is more of a good thing, because it's like, hey, there's another friend here, someone else who can care and might be
Yeah.
able to help out.
Yeah, and that can sometimes help too to add the people to the pile of we're all here for you kind of thing. Now, Freya, when you came over, you noticed that Yume was very focused on this Tina, and you're seeing this Tina's very engaged with this with Yume. Is there a way that you can think of that to support Yume?
So,
I forgot to
I
ask
would-
Battle this earlier. Sorry. What would Freya do here?
so I would definitely walk up, and it's clear that like Yume has already made a connection with Tina, and so I think I would probably just try and like sit down next to Yume and just be kind of quiet, but like try and look and act as engaged as I can, because it's clear that like they are already connected with Tina, but I want to make sure that I'm there in case at any point they want support.
Okay. So the Tina is sort of looking back and forth between Freya and Yume, and Yume, you're so focused on her, and she's crying, right? Like she's got tears coming streaming down her face, and she looks at you and she says, "But there is no hope. There's no way for this to change. It'll never change." And she's using very absolute language, and Yume, coming from a farm, that yeah, there are bad years, but there are also good years. And one thing that you know from being on a farm is things always change. There's always something that can be done. But she keeps talking. You're really engaged in letting her talk, and she talks more about how sad this all makes her, and how she feels like there's less light in the world, and that she brings less light to the world, and that she's tried. It doesn't matter what she tries. There's nothing she can do. And she seems to be talking herself into a loop. And I think you would probably notice, and Freya would probably notice this as well, that listening is excellent, But she can also work herself into a little bit more anxiety if she loops a little too long. So I think Yume might recognize that either communicating with Dandy to distract her a little bit or asking a question to sort of break the cycle might be a good next option. Do you think that she'd ask Dandy? Do you think Yume would ask Dandy for help? Do you think Yume would ask Freya for help? Or do you think Yume might do something like touch her knee or like squeeze one of her hands or something more body language wise?
She probably is holding her hand. I think she could rely on Dandy a little bit to help out more here. But I
Okay.
think I have a way to lead into that, perhaps.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So, she could say, like, I haven't quite felt what you're going through specifically with the farm production being difficult or things not going well season after season. We know that they're never, no two seasons are ever going to be the same, but my parents tend to have worried about that more. It's not quite my focus all the time, but I did have a time that I felt hopeless. My father went away a few years ago, and it was kind of difficult for the rest of us at the temple while one person wasn't around. And she'll kind of go in explaining how she's felt loss and what she had to keep up with in the absence of another person being there. And
Yeah.
I think she'll also explain how she didn't really have any, I guess just to put it simply, didn't really have any friends because she was focused on the family and helping the family trade and studying, just following expectations of her parents.
Yeah, and
So
the
when
more
she finally has some hope for making a friend, she'll kind of she spent a lot of time talking to the bees on her farm, and
Yeah.
eventually this little guy, and she pushes Dandy forward into her lap, like
Yeah.
he'll probably buzz around a little bit. Like he came as out of nowhere, and it was kind of my first real friend, and gave me hope that when I was I didn't believe anything could have changed. I thought I was stuck, and then he showed up out of nowhere.
yeah, the more you
And after
talk,
he was there, I made some other friends. Gestures to Freya.
perfect. The more you talk, the more engaged Tina is with you. She scoots forward and like your knees are touching at this point, and she's clutching your hand. But as you talk, she relaxes and like she doesn't seem as tight body wise. And is Dandy like a snuggly guy, or is he more like a I am here and you are going to love me and that is the end of this, or is he more like I am going to cuddle right up into your neck and we are
I think he's the type that acts really brave and bold when people are looking, but then like when there's attention to be show stealer, sort of like, hey, look at me, I'm the best. But then like when someone's sort of smaller, he's not a tough guy so much and just about.
So would he be sort of showing off on her lap to like get her attention, get her to pet him? Like, would he be like showing off his wings and like showing off his stinger and like sort of like strutting around and like flying around and like being brave? Or would he
My
be?
best comparison is our cats, I suppose, where a cat can sit next to you and just be present and be loving.
Yes.
But they can make little circuits like, hey, you thought I was leaving, but it was only 5 seconds, and now I'm back. You can pet me again, just to break the monotony of it being there. So he's just like, oh, don't forget, I'm here.
Yeah.
A little loop.
That's an excellent analogy, actually. So now I'm seeing that. Thank you for that analogy. And so every time Dandy makes a pass, right, and lands again, it pulls her attention, and it makes her happy. Every time she sees it, there's the tiniest of smiles. And the first time it happens, she feels it like drains away very quickly. But every time Dandy does that again and comes back to her, the smile seems to stay a little bit longer. And she's still crying, but it's less. She's calmer. And now she's looking back and forth between Yume and Freya, and she says, okay, so you have felt this feeling, and I thank you that is really helpful to me because you saw a way through it, and you found your bees, and I have my dogs, and I have Rebecca, and maybe that's what I need to do. Instead of pulling away from them, I need to try and connect more with them, and that's what I'm hearing from you. Is that
You
what you're
do. You have
saying?
people who care about you and who you can talk with and you can invest in. And if
Yeah.
you feel kind of stuck, like there isn't much hope, I guess you can. I guess I just hope that you'll hang in there because things can change in an instant. Like you really never know when things are going to turn around.
And she says, I, she says, I never thought of it like that. That's really helpful to hear. And you can see the tears have stopped. And she actually reaches out a hand to Freya, and she says, and you have a friend right here with you who's come to help me as well. I almost can't believe this. I felt like there was no way out, but you're both here. And she straightens up, and you can see the color draining out of her, and she's also turning to glass, and her face relaxes into a very relieved face. And you realize that you reached out to this Tina, and you shared something with her, and it helped her realize that she didn't need to feel hopeless, and that gives Yume this feeling of success and relief as well. That what you've done was so helpful to this person that it really helps you. And Freya, watching your friend do that, that probably also gives Freya some feelings of like, yes, we're doing this, we're moving forward. Does that sound right for
Yeah.
you both?
Freya's like really excited, but trying to like keep it together a little bit. But she does like lean over and just like bump her like elbow into Yumi and give Yumi a really big smile.
That does seem right. Yume is very relieved and happy, but as soon as Tina's finished turning to glass, I think she finally she still has a smile on her face, but the tears finally start, and then she just kind of lets go a little and leans into Freya.
That's excellent. Okay, and Freya, you guys have traveled together quite a bit, and I don't think Freya would be concerned for Yume in this moment. That this is a release and less of a build up. Does that sound right to you both?
Yeah, Freya doesn't seem concerned.
Okay. So you guys have all of the Tinas around you have relaxed, and there is a deafening silence from the creature. Once the third Tina had been relieved, it broke off with sort of a hiss, and there was this ominous silence as you finished up with the fourth Tina, and you all take a deep breath, and you feel like there is a rightness in this space. And I think you would all probably make eye contact, and maybe, do you think you guys would gather together again?
I think
Maybe,
absolutely.
yeah,
We would
okay.
together.
So you guys sort of move towards each other. Winnie and Battle, that sounds good to you too?
Yeah, I think Winnie is just going to be double checking and looking at every single Tina to make sure that they all look like they're quote unquote fixed.
Can you roll me a perception check?
Yes. First roll of the night.
Yeah, first rule.
Oh, that's not good. 10.
So you're very focused on the Tinas, but you do notice that the void that's at the bottom of this grotto seems to be becoming more violent. It actually seems to be lashing upward, and yeah, yes, it seems to be becoming more active.
Oh,
Do you
I'm going to point that out to everybody.
Okay, so as you all look at this, you realize that there seems like there's a figure standing in the middle of this void, and it's more like the hazy outline of a figure. But as you focus on it, a huge column of starry sort of darkness appears, and it's very serpentine in shape and movements, and it steps out of the pool and it roars in fury at you. And I'm going to ask you all to roll for initiative.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Yeah, so this is going to be our first fight. Remember last time I told you guys you get to hit stuff soon? I meant it.
Yay, hitting stuff. Freya got 17.
Yay!
I forgot to set up, I usually set up a grid, and I forgot to set that up. So let me do that really quickly, and then I'll get your numbers. There's Freya and Battle, because I'll lose track of people even if I write the numbers down. I started skipping people in some of my old games, or in my other games, and it was not going well. So Aaron actually, my husband actually came up with this grid thing in GoodNotes that I use, and it works like a charm. Okay, Freya, what was your initiative?
17.
Battle? I see a 14 in your web captions. Let me know if that's correct.
Yes, 14?
Great. Yume?
8.
And Winnie?
15.
Okay. Let me take a look at this really quickly. I need to build this grid really quick. And I need to roll for this guy. All right, let me build this grid really quick. While I'm doing that, do any of you have any questions or any thoughts you'd like to share?
Technically, Dandy gets his own turn in the initiative. Do you want me to roll for that?
Yes, he does.
Or do you want him to like go after me
No.
always? Or
Well, it'll be easier for me to remember if he goes after you always, but I will also absolutely take you rolling initiative for him and him going on his own turn. I'm not really good with familiars, so I'm going to need a little bit of your help with this.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you recommend?
The only difficulty I've seen with it is a lot of like, and then it's Dandy's turn. Dandy does nothing and then pass. Like, we can save on that if we just kind of group it together.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be more turns than not when he's not doing something remarkable.
Okay, so it sounds like it would be good if he goes after you. Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't really have a preference if it makes it easier for you.
Why don't we try it that way? And if it works out, great. And if we need to make some changes, we can do that at a later time. Does that sound okay?
Sure.
All right, so I'll have Dandy follow right after you. I will absolutely forget this, so you remind me, please, and I'll eventually learn that and remember it moving forward. But I'll need your help tonight if that's okay. You know what else I'll do is I'll actually write his name next to yours. That'll help me remember. That'll be good. Okay, let me put everybody in initiative order in my little grid stuff. And then we can get going. I need to make sure to write down Dandy's name. Dandy's name needs to be written down. Dandy. There we go. Got it. Okay. Let me just take a look at this stuff here. I actually need to change everything I just did. Give me 1 second.
Is each square on the grid 5 feet?
Each square on the grid you're looking at on the map is 5 feet. Yes, that's an excellent question.
Is that perfect square, so diagonal is also 5 feet?
The way that I do diagonals is I say that diagonals are not 5 feet. So in my head, the way that I do it is if you want to go diagonal, you actually go up and over. So that's 10 feet. Tech is our moderator. Tech, I always forget how to do this. Is that an okay way to do it? Does anybody have suggestions or recommendations? Do you have a recommendation there?
It is not the way the book says it, but it is definitely an okay way if you want to do it that way.
Okay. How do you guys feel about doing it that way? I'm open to suggestions.
That's fine by me.
Works for me.
Okay. Let's write down dandy. Let's do that this time, and if it ends up being a pain in the butt, we can change it later.
Excellent.
Cool, cool, cool. All right, I got my grid. Marvelous. Any other questions or comments before we get started? Okay, so Freya, you're gonna be up first. Haha. Freya, you're gonna be up first.
Okay.
What do you think Freya would do in this particular situation?
Freya is gonna cast Sacred Flame.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds right. Go ahead and tell me what that looks like.
Okay, so the target has to succeed on a dexterity saving throw. So I am really excited that there's finally something I can hit. And I like hold out both hands, and there's just this like flame-like radiance that is bright blue that descends from, I don't know, comes out of thin air really. And so the creature has to succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 1d8 radiant damage.
And what do they need to succeed at? What's that number?
It's 14.
Okay. They fail just barely.
Yes.
Just barely. Okay, so roll for damage. So that ends up hitting. So they try to undulate out of the way, like the darkness sort of like tries to dodge it, and it doesn't. You just manage to hit it. So roll for damage.
7.
7. All right. So I think what this ends up looking like is, and what color was the flame? You said it was blue.
It's blue.
Yeah. So it actually kept the darkness almost catches on fire, and the blue flames dance in that area on its side, and it's trying to move away from the flame, but it actually sticks to it a little bit, and it goes out after a second, but you can see that area that it's charred doesn't move as freely anymore, and there are no stars in that area at all anymore. So yeah, that was a good hit. Do you have any bonus actions or movement you'd like to do?
I think I'm gonna hang out exactly where I am.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, Winnie, you're up next. What do you think Winnie would do in this situation?
Does this thing have a corporeal form, or does it seem to just be more misty type stuff?
That is an excellent question. You did just see Freya hit it with fire, and it definitely looks like something you can hit. Yeah.
Okay.
It has a shape that, yeah.
Well, I am going to bonus action rage.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. That sounds good.
And I'm going to move up towards it and take a swing at it with my great axe.
All right. What's your movement?
30 feet.
Yeah, you can get to right here. Does that look all right for you?
Yep.
And you're definitely within range to hit it, so you're going to hit it with a great axe. Roll to hit.
Okay. That is a 14.
That does not hit.
Ah.
But so the way I'm gonna take a crack at describing this. This is how I imagine it looks. Correct me if I'm wrong. As you swing with this axe, I feel like it's in a downward angle, and the form is trying to dodge out of your way, and you just barely miss it. Like you can feel the drag on the axe as it just barely misses this form. Does that sound right?
I get +2 melee damage with strength weapons if I'm raging. I didn't add that. Am I supposed to add that for
Yes.
the great axe? Then it would be 16.
I believe you are supposed to add that. That does hit.
Oh.
And I'm gonna.
Hooray for raging.
I'll.
It's just the damage, not to the attack roll.
Oh, it's just to the damage, not the attack
Just
roll.
the damage. Okay.
Okay, so the rage bonus is if you do hit.
Got it.
So
Cool.
not to damage. So because it doesn't hit, it doesn't It does, yeah.
No damage.
All right, so it's going to swing past like I described. Does that sound right for you, or?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and you used Raged for your bonus action. How long
Yep.
does that stick for?
Up to 1 minute, 10 rounds.
Well, each round is 6 seconds, so you're going to be fine for a bit. Just remember you've got that, okay?
Yep.
And you may thank you for jumping in on that. I appreciate it. These rules are the worst. I will learn them someday, but it will take me years, and I appreciate your expertise. Battle, you are up next. So you've seen fire hit it, and you've seen Winnie come within a hair of hitting it with her great axe. What do you think Battle would do?
I think Battle's going to try to use gosh, this is tough. I think she's gonna try to shoot it with an arrow.
Yeah, she's got a longbow, a sickle,
I
and
think
a
she's gonna use the longbow.
dagger. Yeah, longbow sounds
Just
good.
stay back.
You're within range. Do you want to move at all, or do you want to stay where you're at?
I think that I want to stay where I'm at, if not back up, but probably just stay where I'm at.
I would like to... I was just taking a look at your spells to make sure that I knew what you had. Okay, that looks good.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead and roll to hit with that longbow.
Okay. Let's see.
And you have a +7 to whatever you roll.
8.
You rolled an 8, or did you roll a nat 1?
I rolled a 1.
Okay,
Nat
so
1.
in combat, when you roll a 1 or a 20, you gotta call it out.
Nat 1.
Now, nat 1s are interesting because a GM can use it as a way of doing not fun stuff to the party. And I try not to do that for the first couple of levels. And I've only once been forced to cause party damage because of a nat 1. I won't go into it now. So what I'm going to say this looks like is I will say, Winnie, you're getting in position for your next move, and Battle, your arrow glances off the axe and goes in, just shoots off into the darkness, and it doesn't hit the figure in front of you.
That's fair.
Does that sound okay?
Totally.
All right.
Then can I... Oh, where was that? How far do I have to go then? Do you count me in the center of that box, or would I have to go up?
I count you as in the center of that box.
Okay. I think I'm gonna stay put. I have a bonus action, but I don't feel like it's something that she would want to do. I feel like it's the stubborn, competitive part of me, Sarah, that wants to do the thing. So I'm gonna hold back because I don't think Battle would be aggro.
Would you mind if we talk about it? Can you run it by me and let me see if it sounds...
Yeah. So, she has a bonus action of 2-weapon fighting. And so I would, like, Sarah, the player, would very much enjoy trying my go at 2-weapon fighting. But I feel like Battle's entire backstory goes against that.
Well, that sounds fine for Battle's backstory, but 2-weapon fighting only takes effect if you hit with a light melee weapon in one hand, and then you can hit with another light melee weapon in the other hand. And so you've got this sickle and a dagger. So if you had the sickle and the dagger in both hands, you could use 2-weapon fighting as your bonus action.
Okay, so that's a negatory anyway.
That's okay. It's good to know, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Okay. Cool. So you shoot at it with a longbow. You don't move back, and you're good with your turn.
Okay.
Yume, you're up next. You and Dandy, what are y'all doing?
Is Winnie in the water to attack this thing, or did it like come out to the edge, or like come out closer to us?
The way this map is drawn is you're just all in water, like you're standing in about ankle deep water, and Yume is placed about 20 feet away from the large figure creature, and Winnie is right in front of him.
Okay.
You've got
Is
Battle
it
to your left and a little bit in front of you, and you've got Freya to your left and behind.
is this thing pretty tall? Is it going like pretty high up,
It's
or is it just?
it's extremely tall. Yes, I'll say he's about 7 feet tall.
And I'll step back 10 feet because I don't want to be too near the front, and release an Eldritch Blast at it. It seems like a good way to start.
That sounds great. What does Yume's Eldritch Blast look like?
I think she holds her hand up and it starts off kind of sparkly and iridescent while it forms like a sphere, and then when it blasts outward, it's like a pulsing, glowing yellow beam with a black stripe, kind of like candy stripe through it.
Nice. Yep, I like that. That sounds good. Okay, so the way this works is you make a ranged spell attack. So roll to hit.
That is a 17 to hit.
Is that plus your spell attack modifier?
Yep, 11 plus 6.
That definitely hits. Please roll damage.
7 points of force damage.
7 points of force damage. Okay. So the Eldritch Blast is force damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think when it lands in this sort of dark columny serpentine nonsense, I think it's actually going to punch out a chunk of its sort of like what could be a shoulder if you thought real hard about it. Does that sound right?
Sure.
Yeah, it takes a good chunk right out of that shoulder. And you hear an eerie sort of scream, sort of on the edges of your hearing, and it echoes in and out a little bit. It is the eeriest thing you've ever heard, and it's got hissing mixed in with the scream. And I'm not going to try and do it on the microphone, but I had a weird dream the other day with this sound in, and I'm trying to describe it as much as I can. It's a very strange sound. So you're definitely doing damage to it. That's what that scream indicates. And you can hear now that the voice, this voice is speaking to you the entire time that you guys are starting to hit it, and it's telling you to just give up. Like, you will never win, and this is all futile. And you can tell that the voice that's been speaking to you the whole time you've been in this grotto, it was coming from this figure. You just couldn't see it before because he was in the void and was like blending in with that shapeless void area. Does Yume have any bonus actions?
Not this round. She's a little concerned about fighting because we're in Tina's mind. We don't want to do any harm here, but we were kind of reassured by the Psychomancer that it'll be fine. And also, we as a party know that someone detected that there are undead and fiends in the area, so we want to definitely don't want to let any not too concerned about fighting on that front, but still
Okay.
it still seems dangerous. Which is going to send Dandy up into the air and have him turn invisible and just kind of get out of harm's way.
Okay, so you're worried about causing damage to Tina's mind, and you.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, did I have that right?
We're just kind of talking stream of consciousness, I guess. It's like at first, I'm a little nervous that like we're fighting something in here. We're in Tina's mind. Don't want to hurt Tina. Don't want to ruin things.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a
And
completely valid fear. Yeah.
Resolving against that with the Psychomancer reassuring us that it should be fine. And also there was like undead aberrations and fiends here.
Yep.
We detected earlier, so it might not be a bad thing to
Destroy
little
this.
bit.
Yeah. Okay. And you sent Dandy up to be invisible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to write in yellow. I do color coding a lot in my notes, and so like, and I got a lot of this from not Luthera, who's my husband. But like dark blue is your main action, and light blue is your bonus action, and damage is in red, and healing is in green. And I just tried to write Dandy's actions in yellow, and it is not visible. And he is invisible right now, and I was like, that's very apropos. But like, not useful. Sorry. All right. So the dude in front of you is going to... I just realized I didn't write down what any of these things do. That's a pain in the butt. Is going to shoot a ray of frost, and pause while I look that up real quick. Unless anybody knows what it does off the top of their head, which would be cool. Type. Go. Okay, I found it. Cool. So they're going to try to do ray of frost. I'm going to make a ranged spell attack. And they're going to try and shoot this at... Who did damage? Freya. They're going to try and shoot this back at Freya. I'm pretty sure they fail horribly. Does an 8 hit?
No.
Yeah. So, the Ray of Frost actually is very strange. Have you ever seen ice that is cracked in just the right number of angles that it's there seems to be like a darkness in the ice?
Oh, yeah.
That's what shoots at you. And but it shoots like right in the space between your head and your shoulder, like right in the empty space between your head and your shoulder. It shoots right through there, and you can feel there is no damage, but you can feel almost like shards breaking off of it and coming at you. It is a very weird feeling. Does that sound okay? I mean,
that sounds awful.
Yeah,
yes.
that's yeah. I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. And so that misses, which I also write down. Cool. All right. So we are done with round 1. We're about to move into round 2. We're about an hour into this. Do you guys want to take a quick break, or would you like to keep moving for maybe another half an hour or so?
I vote keep moving.
Okay.
Yeah, couldn't feel so.
Yeah, I'm fine to keep moving.
Okay, I've got 3 votes for keep moving. You're good. Okay, I've got 4. Cool. At the feet of this figure, a pool of darkness appears and spreads out. I don't have an effect for this, do I? Maybe I can make colors happen. Damn it. Give me 1 second to see if yes, colors really close, and I can just, yeah. You're not going to show up the way I want you to, are you? That's neat. Nope, it's showing up underneath the map. Fine. A 15-foot sphere appears around the figure, and
A 15-foot what?
sphere, black sphere,
Okay.
appears around him, and no one can see through it. So now if you shoot or attack into the sphere, and Winnie, you're actually in it, you'll be doing that attack at a disadvantage.
I was going to say, what if I'm in it?
Everything around you goes dark, and it starts at your feet and creeps up, and as it happens, you hear the creature in front of you chuckle darkly. Everything's dark. And then, Freya, you're back up.
Any attack is at a disadvantage?
I think so.
Okay.
Hang on, I'm getting advice from my mod. I believe every attack is at disadvantage if you can't see. I think that's just a general rule. You may. What does that sound right to you? Yeah. You're not technically blinded. It's just you just can't see through that sphere. So.
Okay. Interesting. I want to cast. Winnie is like where I can see on the map. It looks like Winnie is next to the creature, but not like overlapping with the creature. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So I want to cast Shatter.
Okay.
And
that's a new one for me.
It's going to cause a horribly loud ringing noise.
Okay.
And each creature within a 10-foot radius sphere centered on whatever point I cast it on has to make a Constitution saving throw. So I would like to center the sphere like slightly behind the creature, so that hopefully it hits the creature but not Winnie.
That sounds good to me. Is this a spell? Do you have to roll to hit, or is this a thing
You
that
have
happens?
to make a Constitution
I
saving
just have to
throw.
make a Constitution saving throw.
Yes.
Does a 10 save?
No.
Cool. Tell me what the damage is again.
It's 3d8.
Dang, roll to hit.
Yay. So 8, 4, 1. So 13.
13. You hear that same scream that you heard earlier. You hear again, but it sounds shivery, like it has been shattered into pieces, and you're only hearing pieces of it. It's almost interesting in its weirdness when you hear it. It does not do any damage to you all, I want to be clear about, but it is kind of an odd noise. Does that sound right? Okay, I'm just doing math really quick, so let me do that. Alright, cool. Did you have a bonus action you wanted to do, Freya?
I do not.
Alright. Winnie, you're up. You are standing in darkness. You know the creature's in front of you because you just heard it scream from something someone did. You can't see your friends anymore. You can't even see your hands in front of your face. You can feel your great axe. You can hear the creature moving and breathing and saying mean things. And you can hear your friends. But yeah. So what are you doing?
I'm going to just swing in the direction that I think this thing is, because I want it out of my friend's brain.
Okay. So you're still raging. So if you do hit whatever the plus is, is this a reckless?
I do not have reckless.
You don't have reckless. Okay. It just sounded reckless. I'm sorry, and somebody popped it in chat, and I was like, I don't know.
Oh wait, I do have reckless.
You do have reckless.
That was when I make my first attack on my turn.
Well, you haven't made your first attack on your turn yet. Do you want to make it a reckless attack?
Oh,
This
on
is
my
a new turn.
Not in. Yes, I want to make it reckless.
Okay, is that I don't know how this works, and I definitely know Tech does.
Normally, reckless would be, I could get advantage on melee attack rolls, but because I would normally be at disadvantage, this would just be a straight roll.
That's true. And that's something you want to do. That sounds good. You may probably also know this. Good.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Roll to hit.
All right, that's not too bad. A 15.
That hits.
Yes.
Roll to hit, and remember your rage stuff.
All right, so I got +2 for damage and D12 +4. I rarely roll D12s.
Yeah, D12s are the best.
Awesome, that was a 10, so that's 16 points of damage.
Dang. All right. Do you know what that looks like, or do you want me to take a crack at it?
I don't know what it looks like because I'm in darkness. and everything's dark. So
All right, let me describe what
I know
this,
what it feels like.
what
but
this
not
feels
what it
like is you swing forward, and before, when you felt sort of the friction from your axe just gliding by, now what you feel is a weird sort of squishy landing. It's not squishy. Squishy's not the right word. But normally when you hit stuff with the great axe, like there's a solid hit when you do it, and here there's like a give and sort of like a like it then it sinks into something, and you hear a wail of pain come from this creature. It is definitely unhappy, and you can get your axe out of it. Just you sort of jerk it back out, but very satisfying. You definitely did some damage there.
I'm going to do frenzy attack bonus action,
Okay.
which means I can make a single melee weapon attack as a bonus action on each of your turns after this one.
So does that take effect
So
right now, or then?
I think it takes effect on my next turns.
Great. Okay, you remember that.
Yes.
All right. I think Battle's up next. Or sorry, Winnie, you're good. Yes.
Yep.
Battle,
Okay.
you're up. What do you got?
So, gosh,
That's okay.
I'm so torn because I'm very concerned about my ability to use my longbow in this situation.
What's concerning you about it? The darkness?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will say this, this isn't something I would normally tell the players, but because we're all new at this and you guys haven't learned to trust me
Yeah.
yet, I'm not going to have you hit Winnie, unless you roll in that one. And that's only going to be if I can't think of a more clever thing to do. And if you move a little bit to your left, like that won't even be a thing on a nat one. I'm not going to have you miss and hit Winnie if you don't hit on a disadvantage. If that is part of your concern, hopefully that helps it become not a
It
concern.
helps. And I'm going to go ahead and guess that opportunity attack only applies when my character was within range and is no longer.
Correct.
Got it.
So
Okay,
if-
so I'm going to use my longbow
Mm-hmm.
and hope that my d20 does not fail me.
Do you want to move over a little bit to get a better
Yeah,
angle?
I'm gonna move to the left. Yep, that's a great place for me to move.
All right. And D20 don't fail you now. You're at disadvantage, so roll twice and take the lower number.
Okay. $12.
That does not hit. So the arrow disappears into the darkness, and you do not know what happened. But every time you'd seen the creature get hit before now, it made a very angry noise, and you didn't hear it make an angry noise this time.
Dang.
Do you have a bonus action you'd like to try?
I cannot. No.
Okay. You've missed twice here. Is Battle good at like handling missing, or is this gonna frustrate her? This is just for
She's gonna
flavor.
feel
This isn't a
really
mechanic thing.
downtrodden. This is gonna emotionally like tear her up. She's
Okay.
gonna be really frustrated and sad and irritated.
Okay. Okay, that was just for flavor. Thank you for doing that. All right, you and Dandy are up next. What do you got?
Okay, so this creature is inside the darkness. Which of my allies are also in the darkness? Just Winnie?
Just Winnie is in the darkness, and Winnie is in the darkness and almost directly in a direct line between you and the creature. Freya is to your left and a little in front of you, and Battle is to your left and like 20 feet in front of you, and like over to the left about 10 feet.
I think I'll shift to the side a little bit from where I last saw Winnie.
Okay. I'm going to move you over away from Freya to the right about 10 feet.
And I'll even move closer. And I think I'll try to provoke them a little bit. Like, if you're gonna fight us, show yourself. And then let off another Eldritch Blast.
Okay. I think you can get to about there. You're about 10 feet away from it now. That would move you into the darkness. Do you want to move into the darkness or stay out of it?
I want to stay outside the edge of it.
All right, I'll put you right on the outside edge of the darkness, and you shoot it with an Eldritch Blast. You're not shooting through Winnie at this point, so you should be good. And you'll be rolling at a disadvantage.
Oh no. It was a natural 20, reduced down to an 11.
Oh, dang, that doesn't hit. That sucks that it was a nat 20. Damn
happens.
it. I hate it when that happens on disadvantage, though. As a player, that just makes me so grumpy. It's not fair. It's like, okay. All right, so that misses. Do your Eldritch Blasts fizzle when they miss, or do they hit something no matter what and sort of explode a little bit, like a little tiny explosion?
I don't think it's like harmful on what it hits. Probably just more, just fancy and pretty, like glitter bursts. If it hits anything that it wasn't intended to.
Okay.
Very sparkly to suit her.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. I like the way you described that. That sounds good. Okay. Just realized I was not paying attention to chat. My apologies. Our session chat, my apologies. Next up is Dude Man. He's gonna do another Ray of Frost. And he's gonna shoot it at Yume because of the yell that you did there. And does no, if it's not in the box, it doesn't count. Does a 16 hit?
Does.
All right. I roll a d8. This is cold damage. And this is going to slow you down. You take 2 cold damage. And
take that 2 cold damage.
Your speed is reduced by 10 feet until the start of your next turn. But I think you already moved this turn, so it doesn't really...
I'd like to take a reaction.
You'd like to take a reaction.
In response to getting hit, I'd like to cast a spell as a reaction.
I didn't know you could do that. Do it. Yeah.
I'm able to take a deep breath and shoot a lot of energy back in the direction that the Ray of Frost came from with what I think called Shining Rebuke, because she isn't so hellish. But it's a spell Hellish Rebuke at 2nd level.
Okay. So this is Hellish Rebuke, but you're calling it Shining Rebuke.
Just for fun.
I love that so much. I cannot tell you how much I love that. That sounds great. So Shining Rebuke, it is. In reaction, they rolled a 5. So what am I trying to beat?
14.
Yeah, fail. Roll for damage.
So the spell is normally 2d10, but since it's at 2nd level, it goes up to 3d10.
Dang.
15 points of fire damage.
Dang.
At this point, Battle turns around from curmudgeon trudging through the water and is like cheering.
Yeah, I would cheer too, man. This is nuts. So what it looks like is, I'm thinking of the rebuke part of this, Yume, and I'm imagining that your fire probably looks very yellow and glows more than it fire flicker.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm imagining that the Ray of Frost that shoots at you leaves sort of like ice crystals in its path as it's shooting at you, and your yellow fire sort of follows the exact same path right back towards the critter, and it shoots right through that darkness. That sounds awesome. All right, let me do some math. You said you do 15?
15.
Yeah. The darkness around sorry, give me 1 second. I'm looking at a thing. The darkness around the creature flickers and disappears, and you're seeing the large serpentine. It's got a chunk missing out of its shoulder, and it's like one of its sides feels shaved, and there's a huge gash down its middle. But right in the center of it is this bright yellow shining flame. And I'm imagining what it does is it just eats out from the center and burns that whole black figure away. And you for a very, very dazzling moment, instead of a column of serpentine darkness, it's a column of serpentine light. And then it flames out and the whole grotto brightens. And you're no longer in initiative. You have killed your very first fiend as a party. You worked together, you helped these Tinas, and you took this bastard down.
Woo!
Yeah, well done. This is excellent. I am very proud of you guys. Let's see what happens when you're done here.
Hooray, hooray.
Yeah, so you are standing in this grotto. It is suddenly brighter. The glass Tinas have vanished. This creature has vanished. The oily dark void is slowly draining out to where it's just this grotto that's lit with these bright sort of fairy lights drifting around, just I don't know how else to describe them right now. And you're out of initiative. You're done. What do you guys do?
Is there any change in the Tinas?
They're gone. They're completely gone. I know
Can
you
give
can see them on the map.
everyone
I'm
high
sorry. Yeah, that's absolutely something Freya can do.
fives? That's what I do.
Yeah, you just run around and give everybody a high five.
Yes.
Awesome. That sounds great.
In a rare break of composure, even though battle is technically more formal than this usually, she just like flops down in the water, looking at the
Okay.
fairy lights.
And yeah, she's just focusing on those fairy lights. Is she taking deep breaths? Is she just sort of just
I think there's like a
doing
content
her?
sigh of like, okay, crisis averted here.
And you all feel I'm just taking notes. You all of your characters feel a great sense of accomplishment. You were sent here to protect a piece of Tina's psyche, and you did double duty here. You took the pieces of psyche that this creature was trying to drag into its murk and darkness. You hauled those pieces out, and then you beat this fiend back, and this area feels like it's snapped into place. It feels clean. That fog is gone. The sounds you're hearing are pleasant, and you could pass an evening here. This feels like a very nice, pleasant place to be now. We are going to take a break. Before we do, is there anything else you guys want to do real quick?
I think Winnie's still just looking for Tina.
I'll say, if I may, and you can say no, I'll say that Winnie knows that there's still more of Tina that she needs to go help, but this piece of Tina is safe, and I think Winnie feels at least this piece is safe. Does that sound okay?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
Freya's happy with her high fives.
Yeah, they were good ones. They make that really satisfying smack noise.
Excellent.
I think Battle would sit up, still in the water, maybe putting her elbows on her knees in a wide stance, just asking like, is everybody okay?
Does anybody respond?
Freya smiles and nods.
It was scary, but I think we're okay.
I think Yume's the only one who took damage, and I think Dandy would come down from where you sent him and land on your shoulder. Is there anything Dandy can do to help? Because I think Dandy might try to help here. Does that sound right?
Nothing mechanically, but he'll probably try to help out with morale.
Yeah, he'll Oh, does it sound right for
I
him to actually check on everybody, to like bob in on all of the characters?
Yeah,
Okay.
like that.
You first, of
Freya,
course.
Freya wants to ask Yumi if Yumi wants Freya to heal her at all.
No, I think I can hold off for a little while. I can take a rest later. I don't know what
Okay.
else we're gonna have to face here.
Sure, just let me know.
Thank you.
Okay. With that, we are going to take a quick break. I'm going to mute you all's microphones. I ask you all to pause your web captions because I'm going to leave mine up. I haven't figured out, I haven't worked out a button yet to disappear your web captions yet. So if you don't want to be heard and seen, go ahead and stop those captions or mute your own. Please go take at least a 10-minute break. And stream, we're going to be back in, I'll say, 15 minutes, which means 7:05 my time. But I'll stay on stream for at least 10 minutes answering questions, and I want to check out this chat. One housekeeping thing real quick. Winnie, you do take 1 exhaustion for using that Reckless Rage. Do you see where to... yeah. Do you see where to do that on your sheet?
Yes, I do.
That adds some effects, so go ahead and take a look at that. All right. Run away, my beautiful players, and take a quick break, and I'll see you back here in 15 minutes, okay? And I'll check in with you guys 5 minutes before we go live again to see if you have any questions or anything, and I'll be paying attention to your chat as well. All right, I'll see you in 15. All right, let's see here, chat. What do you got for me? We got followed by Girl to Board. I hope I said that right. Thank you so much for the follow. Catacombs, I'm so glad you're here. That's exciting. Punch Depression in the face. Hell yeah. Tech jumped in with Barbarian would like to rage. That did look really good. That rage looked really good. Tech also said D12 is best dice. So yeah, that's a pretty good thing to be rolling. Gamer Doc gifted a tier, which I think means we're up to 35 subs now, which means I think I get a new emote. I also introduced the emote I got to add at 25 subs, which is the Terra Sass face. Catacomb said Dandy writes in invisible ink. I mean, he was invisible, so he was clearly affecting my notebook, and that makes sense to me. That was clever. Thanks for the suggestion, Tech, for Reckless. That was a good thing to cancel that disadvantage. That was a very satisfying hit for Winnie, so I'm glad we got to have that moment. Yep, I introduced the Terra Sass, and then, of course, we have to invoke Butts. That's very important that we invoke Butts. And I'm seeing, Hellish Rebuke skinned as Shining Rebuke. That's a brilliant move. I'm super excited Yume's doing that. And yeah, I'm so excited they killed their first dude. Do any of you have any questions? Do you have any comments you'd like to make or any thoughts you'd like to share? Or any jokes? I don't know. What's up? What can I do for you all tonight? I'm loving the views we're getting. It's super fun to have you all here. And I have to wait for stream to catch up. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. So we have a session chat running as well in Discord, and I didn't have it pulled up in a way that I could see, unfortunately. But I also roll with a mod as often as I can with games. I find it very helpful. A mod doesn't have to know all the answers. Sometimes it's just helpful to have them be present in a way that you might not be able to while you're running the game. And this is mostly specific just to me. I don't know if anybody else needs this, but if you're finding yourself wishing you could pay attention to it all and you can't quite get all the pieces together, having a mod can be very helpful. I don't know if Wandering Shrink is in here, but I've seen her mod on several channels, and I really enjoy the way she mods. And Tech is able to mod for us both by keeping the chat involved in Twitch, which is very helpful, but I'm also seeing him help in the session chat, and that's really awesome. He was explaining things to us when we were having some questions. Yep, and I see. Yeah, this is really cool. I really love that we did this. I think this was an invention from Luth. I think that was one of his ideas. He sets up all of my D&D channels. He's my tech dude. I've got Tech Soup and then husband helping me with all this. Oh, I guess I misspoke and Tech was able to clarify. Sorry, Sarah. Um, thanks, Tech. Let's see here. Yeah. All right, chat. If no one needs anything, I'm gonna mute my microphone and camera and eat as many M&Ms as I can in the 10 minutes I've got left. And I'm gonna go check in with my players too. So feel free to. I'll pay attention to the chat. If you have any questions, I can pop back early and answer them, or I can type the answers. Again, thanks so much for watching this today, and I'm really glad you're all here. Okay, I'll see you in about 10 minutes. Bye bye. Hi, Stream. Just trying to unmute my minions there. Great. Hi, Stream. We are back and live, and we are getting ready to get going. I didn't see any questions from you, so if you do have questions or comments, please leave them in the chat, and myself or one of the mods will answer them, or I'll address it after the game is over this evening. Oh, yep. Everyone remember to turn your captions back on. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. Thanks, Winnie. Okay. So you are all standing in this grotto. It is brighter, and you can take the first clean breaths you've been able to take since you got into this space, and it just feels right somehow. But you all remember that there were 2 paths when you entered the Arboretum, and yeah, what do you guys do next?
Can we see anything from where we are?
No, the grotto is a downward, like you guys, the path led downward, and so everything around this grotto are tightly packed trees and those thorns, like huge thorn bushes. So you're not going to be able to sort of hack your way through the edges here. What would make the most sense for you to do is to take the path back up, and back up to where you saw the other path split off.
Winnie is just going to start walking that direction and saying, "Well, come on, let's get to saving Tina, and so we can all get out of here and go see Tina in the real world."
Yep. Yeah, this feels disconcertingly real to you. So yeah, that's an interesting. Is everybody else ready to do that, or did you want to?
Freya just gets in line and follows Winnie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll hang back and follow everyone.
Okay. You said you were looking back.
Just feeling anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
Looking around, but continuing along with everyone. I'm not gonna hang behind. I'm just staying in the back part of the crowd.
Got it. So you guys end up back at the top of the path, which you can see on screen right now. And so you get back to where it splits, which is right at the entrance to the Arboretum, and you can very clearly see the feathers, these bright red feathers, sprinkling the path in the other direction, and you can hear that faint wail, that faint intermittent wail again. Not like a whale in the sea or a space whale, but like a crying whale.
Can we hear where it's coming from?
Roll a perception check for me.
I got a natural 1.
You actually can't hear it. If somebody points out that there's a wailing noise, you're like, what?
Can I also try to figure out where it's coming from?
Sure.
Shoot. Where is it? Oh, 17.
It does seem to be coming from up the path to the right with the feathers. It also sometimes seemed to come from a completely different direction, but it most consistently seems to come from that direction.
Can I touch one of the feathers?
Sure, yeah. So Aarakocra are pretty tall. They're humanoid tall, and they've got legs and stuff. So this is a tail feather, and this bird, this Aarakocra would have a really magnificent tail if its tail feathers weren't littering this path. So the feather itself is about 1.5 feet long, but it's very bedraggled. Like it's all clumped up on the feather, and the pinion is broken. Like the shaft of the feather is broken. So it's not in very good shape.
Okay.
You guys gonna go down that path?
Winnie's already like halfway down it.
I want to go down the path with the feathers immediately.
All right.
I want to be like generally looking around.
Okay.
I'm a little upset that apparently there's some noise happening that I can't hear. I'm just not used to everyone else being aware of things that I'm. So
Right.
I'm a little peeved about that. So I'm trying to like make sure I keep my eyes open
Right.
so that
All
I
right.
can notice something that way.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, cool. Okay. So the trail of mangy red feathers leads to a hollow of trees. The trail is lined with these thorny briars and nettles and very unhealthy blood-tinged trees. There's the entire this entire part of the forest is buzzing with insectoid energy, and there's that feeling of like, have you ever gone out in the woods and like gnats immediately got in your clothes and you're basically beating yourself black and blue trying to get them out?
Yes.
That's the feeling that's happening. So you guys are actually really on edge, and so you'll have advantage on initiative rolls. The air is really hot and humid and clingy, and your throats start to feel like they're lined with like sand pretty fast. You're really uncomfortable, and it's making all of you pretty irritable. Um, the hollow of trees that you end up getting to, the trees have this bloody bark, which is it's an odd thing to be seeing. Like, trees don't normally bleed, but it does really seem like there's blood coming out of them. They've got drooping blackened leaves and skin tearing briars. There are shadows jumping and flickering in the air around you, as the air grows really warm and suffocating. It's a little hard to breathe. You can get a deep breath in, but it feels murky. There's this frustrating crying punctuated by guttural cackling as you guys move forward. And I'm gonna manipulate the map real quick so you can see
Does
the
the
next
laughing and the crying sound like the same voice or different voices?
different voices. Yep, for sure. And this is yet another map made by Gamer Shrinks. They're credited down in my Twitch stuff, but you should definitely check out their stream. I think they do one of these every Sunday, and they're open to other players if you want to get on one of these. You can find them on Twitter using the handle I've credited down below. All right, so this is what you're kind of seeing is this huge Aarakocra with these. He's very gangly, and he's got these mangy crimson feathers, and he's bedecked in talismans and trinkets. They're all over him. They're rattling all over him, and he's caping around this cage of brambles, which you can see Tina in, and she's sobbing, and it's heartbreaking. And she's every time the Aarakocra is on one side of the cage, she's pushing herself up against the other, even though this cage is made of briars. What do you do? Ah, shoot, I forgot to do my homework. What do you guys do?
Yeah,
Before we get too
Winnie is definitely action oriented here and is about to charge in. But what are you gonna say?
What
Yume?
does Yume do first?
I was gonna say, before we get too close, I want to cast a spell. Put mage armor on. Use my armor of not armor of radiance because it's not armor of shadows.
Oh.
Is it? But it's called Armor of Shadows in the book, and you're skinning it as Armor of Radiance. I love that. What does
Yep.
it look like?
Probably. I'm blind, so I don't know how magical girl transformations look. Probably something flashy, like sparkling, like some sort of light materializing around her.
Let's say.
And
Love it.
Yeah, I love that. Let's say along those lines. You're not going to do the spin around in the air and like your hair
No,
floats
not
up
that
or
far.
anything. But as you're invoking this, the edges of all of your clothing and like your finger, all of your edges get brighter. Like you're
very
actually,
good.
and then it sinks into your skin, and now you can only see it when you move quickly or somebody looks at you out of the corner of their eye. You seem
right,
just
it's very
limed
subtle
in.
after the initial
Yeah.
burst. But
Yeah.
I think she's able to do that because it's a little bit like we're going into somewhere really like gross and gloomy, but there was a little bit of hope after the last part. Like we had some
Yeah.
tangible look down what's going on here. So
Yeah,
there's a little bit of levity.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I was on mute on accident, but I want to grab the back of Winnie's armor as best I can if I can still reach her before she runs in. Or to
She's
stop her.
running pretty fast.
Dang.
I don't know. What can she reach me?
But I don't know.
You're gonna try and
GM?
hold Winnie back?
Can I just grab her and say, "Wait, Winnie, wait"?
Well, you guys have worked together for a long time. Would Winnie be... Do you think Winnie would be receptive to that, or would Winnie tear herself away and start charging in?
I'm gonna make a wisdom roll.
All right.
Because I don't know.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Let's
I could also
find
try
out.
and run a roll of persuasion if that's helpful.
I only got I only got a 10, which doesn't help me either way, because that's right in the middle.
Dang it.
But she's seeing her friend like in terror and caged up, and she just wants to go like bust this cage open. So
Okay. I'm going to say that Battle gets a hand on you and is asking you to wait. But if Battle doesn't have a thing to follow up that wait with, I'm going to say Winnie breaks off and runs forward.
A thing.
Like, what are you trying to get her to wait for? Do you have, like, do you want to, are you...
I wanted to let's look around and see if there's a way that we can approach this without getting reckless.
Winnie did not do very well in her wisdom save, so I'm not sure she would listen to that. What do you think, Winnie?
I don't think she's listening. I think she's going for
That's
it.
fair.
All right. Yeah, so Winnie's going to charge in. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm gonna watch Winnie Chermit just run in and be a little nervous. I'm gonna try and like scoot around kind of one side of the clearing to see if I can get kind of a better understanding of what's going on in the clearing.
Yep. So Winnie's gonna run straight forward, so I'll move you to about here. Freya's gonna move along the left side of the clearing. Does that look okay?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Battle and Yume, what are you guys doing?
Just kind of keeping up. Is Freya doing like a lone wolf, be stealthy scouting sort of thing, or just
Freya
observing
is
from a distance?
trying to be reasonably stealthy because she's worried about Winnie running in, and so is trying to get to a place where she could like cast ranged spells,
Okay.
and maybe not get hit by whatever Winnie triggers. But she doesn't have any like specific "I have to be by myself" feeling.
Gotcha. Then Yume would probably follow along with Freya, be in
Okay.
a similar position.
Okay.
Battle.
I think I have faith in the two of them over there, and I'm gonna try to go on the other side and see if I can get a different vantage point, but also stay within like the limits of ranged battle, but as far back as I can, and observe
Okay.
to the right instead of the left.
To the right. So would about there look right? Back further?
Maybe like 5 more feet.
Go
No.
forward?
Yeah,
Look
there.
right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe
so-
even like under the trees.
under the trees, yeah.
1 square north. Yeah.
North. This way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The next part of what I want to do, I'm gonna do in yeah, okay. So the Aarakocra is sort of dancing around here, and his talismans are sort of, they're clattering, like they're the loudest noise in here besides his laugh. And his laugh is very guttural, and he is raising his wings up, and every time he raises them up, you see like little flashes of light, and you hear some muttering coming from him. And he's definitely seen you, and he looks like he's getting ready to do something. Can you all roll a perception check for me, please?
Dirty 20 for Winnie.
Got it.
21.
Great.
So dirty 20.
Okay.
12.
Cool. So, Battle, Yume, and Winnie. Sorry, Winnie, did you say that was a natural? No, you said dirty 20. Battle, Yume, and Winnie, you can tell this dude's about to do something, and he's about to do something to y'all. Yume, you rolled a
20.
20. Was it a nat 20?
No, total.
What would it have been if you added your Arcana check on it?
24.
You mind if I flavor your perception towards the Arcana
Sure.
side of things? You can tell that the talismans that are on him are actually in order to manipulate your auras and specifically to tap into your fears and manifest them. Battle and Winnie, you can just tell from his body language that he's about, like, you're familiar enough with spellcasters that you can tell he's about to cast some sort of spell. Freya, you can tell he's up to something, but you're not quite sure what that is. How do you guys communicate with each other about this?
I think I would try and like whisper to Yumi.
What would you whisper to Yumi?
I think I'd be like, I think he's up to something, but I don't. Can you figure out what's going on?
He is. He's kind of menacing. He doesn't look very nice. I don't think anybody here would be nice necessarily. He's waiting for us, I think. He's
Oh, that's good. Do we want to engage him, or do we just want to like guns blazing?
Winnie
Yeah.
is running forward at this point
I was
to
gonna say,
try
I
and
don't
get in
think-
the first spot. The
I'm like,
first
all
shot.
right. Well, Winnie's making
should-
the decision. I guess that's what we're doing now.
I think we trust in Winnie for the moment. Like, we can be ready, but I'm gonna trust to see what she does first.
All right. Yeah.
She's running forward, yelling, "Stay
think-
away from my friend!"
I think we could talk to him, but gonna trust in Winnie on this
Okay.
one.
Yeah.
Winnie, before you get any further than you are right now on the map, something starts boiling up out of the ground in front of each of you. I am going to call it here for the evening because I know we're getting close to 8 and the next chunk is going to, I'd rather not end in the middle of a chunk like we did last time. I think it'll play nicer if we start with this at the beginning of the next one. As homework, I would like each of you to send me an anxiety that your character would have. I'm going to ask you to try and pick one that isn't something that'll tap into your own anxieties. So for me, I get really scared when I am left alone and someone's yelling at me. So I would not tell my GM to put something in front of me that makes me feel alone and yelled at. So just to give you some context there. So, and if you'd rather I pick a general one for you, please let me know. I've got a pile of them that I can just sort of flavor to be an anxiety, and we can both handshake that it's something your character is anxious about. I'm going to give you mechanics to be able to handle this at the beginning of the next session, so don't worry about that. Yeah, so that's kind of your homework, and I apologize for Tara. Come here. Please stop barking. Tara, come. Ooh, she's
Does
not
it need to
listening to
be-
me.
A tangible or an intangible anxiety?
It needs to be something that I can personify. I'm pretty
it.
good at it. I have only had one character give me something I really couldn't figure out how to personify, and but I'm absolutely willing to go back and forth with you on it
So
in
it
a
can be
positive
either
way.
as long as it's able to be personified.
Yes,
It could be I'm like spiders make me really anxious, or being alone makes me really anxious. Like either of those would work.
right. I can make the alone thing work, and I can make the spider thing work. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that sounds good. Any other questions about that? Okay. So I'm saving this map right now. I'm saving it. Okay, so I know where you all are, and this is where we'll start next time. And I specifically wrote down that Winnie is running in, yelling, "Stay away from my friend," so that I will make sure that that's where we start next time. What did you guys learn today? And chat, after learns, we're going to do role-playing points. So please feel free to nominate a good role-playing moment that you saw this evening. And the players will vote on who gets the role-playing point. But what'd you guys learn?
Freya takes pride in being able to notice things quickly, and she didn't do so great with that tonight.
That is true. Freya does not handle a perceived failure well at all.
Okay.
Freya learned that like Winnie is willing and ready to jump into any situation, which is cool and also a little scary.
This is literally the first time I've ever played a character like this, and it's freaking me out. Like, it is
Oh,
causing
no.
me actual anxiety.
Oh no, that's
You were
not
doing a great
good.
job of it.
Why is it causing you anxiety? It's
Because this is the total opposite of the person that I am. Like,
Okay.
I always play D&D characters that are just like me, that like, let's
Right.
sit back, let's think things
Let's-
through, let's
let's
come
use
up with
logic.
a plan.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad thing.
I
It's
know
just like,
I know how you feel. I'm playing a fighter in another campaign and I'm constantly like, where are my spells? Why am I close to things? I'm just gonna stab it, and my poor GM is just giggling at me. I understand. Hang in there. It'll be fun. Don't worry. You're a tank,
Yes.
so you should be able to take any damage that you
Exactly.
incur. And you're doing a lot of good. You had a good moment in that fight last time. Okay, what else have you guys learned? Anything else you want me to write down to read back to you later? Any particulars? It's fine if you don't. It's no big deal.
I think Tina's kind of 4 emotions that we addressed seem to have calmed. So at least like a good chunk of Tina seems to be getting better.
Yeah, you definitely saved that piece of psyche, and you destroyed the thing that was damaging it. So there's no chance. You're very sure that there's no chance there's going to be a recurrence there. You're definitely beating up this night hag's underling. So it was good. Anything else you want me to jot down? Or are you ready for the role playing moments? Okay, role playing moments it is. Let me get set up in the chat, because I type these all in the chat, and I start this section of chat with the date, because in November I turn a lot of my games into books during National Novel Writing Month, or NaNoWriMo, and so the dates help me string things in the right order. Okay. That was me babbling while I got the setup. What good role-playing moments did you guys see tonight? Chat, you can pitch in too if you've got some good moments you want to nominate.
I have just been really enjoying Winnie charging into every situation ever.
Mm-hmm.
All of the situations.
Yeah. You give Winnie something to hit, and Winnie goes to hit it.
Yes.
Yep.
Especially when her friends are in danger.
Chat nominated the Hellish Rebuke from Yume.
I agree.
Yeah, that was really good. I loved how you skimmed that too. That was I can see that so clearly.
I also loved Yume yelling out, like, if you're gonna fight us, show yourself. Like, that was
a good
great.
moment too. She was drawing the creature's attention. Let me type that up. If you're going to fight us, show yourself. Was that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. What else? Okay, you guys ready to vote? Or any other role-playing point moments? Or role-playing moments, rather.
That's all.
All right, vote away. So we've got Winnie charging into every situation, Yume's shining or hellish rebuke, and Yume shouting, if you're going to fight us, show yourself. And, yeah, Yume, let me know if you want me to toss an emoji on anything for you. And so my players, I keep each line, each moment a separate line so that the players can react using an emoji, and that's how they vote. So I've got 2 of 4 votes. I've got 3 of 4 votes. And I've got 4 of 4 votes. Okay, so I've got Yume's Shining Rebuke is going to win, but Winnie's charging into every situation and Yume's shouting if you're going to fight to show yourself each got another vote as well. So we pretty even spread tonight. But Yume, you take the role-playing point for next session. Thank you so much. You did an excellent job tonight. That's fun. All right, I am absolutely willing to hang out and answer any questions. We've played 2 whole sessions this time. How you guys feeling? You feeling pretty good?
Yeah.
Yeah, you managed to hit a big bad. Your characters are really developing, it feels like. You're making some solid character choices. How's that feeling for you guys?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, really good.
This is also usually a good moment to check in with everybody, and I'd like you to reply privately, but it's a good moment to check in and say, hey, remember those yes-no lists we talked about really early on? Things you'd like to see or things you wouldn't like to see? Usually around the 2nd or 3rd session, I check in and be like, feel free to update those at any point, and I will, again, anonymize them, and we will review them as a group. It'll help me drive the story in a direction that you find fun, because remember, this is supposed to be fun, and it will be, gosh darn it. And it also, it's a good communication tool. So feel free to do that. Anything you guys would like to talk about as a group, or would you like to run away and be free?
Neutral.
I'm good.
Okay.
I don't think that I'd want to run away.
No,
I agree.
No need to
Yeah.
run away. Yeah, okay. Well, Stream, it has been a delight having you with us this evening. I am like Seven Spoon. You can find me on Twitter and everywhere else. If you have any questions or you would like to make comments or suggestions, please know that I might ignore your suggestions, but I always love them. Collaboration is my favorite thing, and I am willing to collaborate with the internet. Please join us next time. I believe we are all good to play next Saturday as well. And yeah, have a wonderful evening. Everybody say bye, Stream.
Bye.
Bye, stream.